Okay, we're live. Hi, Didier.
Hi, Robin. How are you doing?
I'm very good. I'm very good. How are you? How are you? You look
Great,
great, man.
fantastic. Absolutely happy to be here and happy to reconnect with you. It's been quite a while, isn't it?
Yeah. It's been quite a while. It's been 2017 in
Wow,
Yukon, South Korea. That was the last
wow.
time we met. I mean, we met only once, probably
Yes,
there.
we did.
But
Yes, we did.
yeah, it was a great a few nights because we have that a lot of free beers at night. So we always hang out in that. You remember that place? So we always hang out there and with others. I remember James from Southwest, also a regular
Yes,
there,
yes, yes.
and then
Th-
who's the
There was a guy from
Martin from
Glastonbury. Wasn't there a guy from
yeah.
Glastonbury?
No, James is from Southwest. The other one was
All right, okay.
yeah, the from Glass. He's the booker of Glastonbury, also the founder of the Great Escape. Martin Elborn. He was also
Yes,
a regular,
exactly.
and then David Pichilingi from Liverpool Sound City.
Cha cha cha. You have such a wonderful memory. Tell me.
Yeah, because yeah, that was because it was memorable. It was a great 1 week in South Korea, and then it was my first time get there visiting the country, and then I was amazed with the how you call it, with the people that they can afford to invite. It was world class, and it was just amazing
I
week.
loved
So
I loved every minute. I loved every
yes,
minute of it.
yes.
And the only regret I have is I would have loved to stay a little bit longer because there was this festival starting, this independent music festival starting, I think the day I left, or
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and I think it
Yes.
was
So,
very,
so
very.
yeah. So I extend the stay until 3 or 4 more days because there's another festival, Zandari Festa. So we continue the party over there, and it's crazy nights. It's just amazing.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, anyway, happy to be here, happy to talk to you again, and
Yeah, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for spending this time with me. It's been
it's my pleasure.
it's thank you. Okay, can we start with the question, Didier? Here's the
Yes,
thing
let's
though.
go.
I read your profile and it's just amazing. That's a long time you've been here. There's a lot of things that you've been achieved in this industry. It's amazing that we've done in the music industry, Didier. So I don't know where to start. Probably you can start with telling me how did you get here to the music industry?
So a bit of, well, I have always been passionate about the music industry, about music. I'm a music fan. I'm a music passionate since, young age, since my teenage years, since I was 15. And my dream when I was at school was to become a sound engineer.
Mm.
Well, it didn't turn out the way I wanted. I was told back then that in order to become a sound engineer in France, you had to study mathematics and physics, which I did. So I have a
Mm.
degree in physics, and I just found out that that was not the way to go. So basically, I left university, I quit university, and I started working in a record store. Uh, I did work during a year and a half, and then this German company launched its operations in France, and it turned out to become BMG later. So we launched BMG in
Mm.
France in 19 when was that 1980, actually 1980, and I was a sales rep for BMG during 6 years until 1986. I was let go then. And I started my first independent label. So I signed a few labels, European labels, and I had a distribution. I went quite quickly bankrupt. I was totally unexperienced, but trust me, setting up a company and hitting the wall is the best school that you can have, basically. So I got lucky and I was hired back then at EMI in Paris as a marketing manager in charge of developing artists. I did that during a year and a half, and then I was promoted as a marketing director, Capitol Records, Continental Europe. I did that during 3 or 4 years. Then I was let go, as it, as they do. And I did stay in London. I was offered positions in Brazil or in Nashville, which I turned down because it was not my thing. And basically, I started my first management company back then in London in 1993, 1994, and I did that during a year until I got a call from Warner's in Paris that they were looking for a head of international and a marketing director in Paris. And I thought it was about time to go back home. And basically, I returned to France. And I did work for Warner's during 3 years, from 94 to 96, actually. Again, change of MD, change of people, new team coming in, old team out, again let go. And I was tired at the time of this major record company HR policy and the changes and the musical chairs. And my son was born. I became a dad in 1996. And I thought that, it was time for me to make a big step forward and do what I always wanted to do, and that is to work closely to artists and to set up a management company. I did have my first experience in the UK with a band called the Dogs d'Amour. The Dogs d'Amour used to be signed to a label called China Records. China Records was at the time distributed by Warner's. And while I was in London, I did attend some training, some classes provided by the International Music Forum. It was called the IMF at the time, before turning into the IMF a bit later on. So basically, I I realized being in Paris all of a sudden that I was on my own, that it was a very lonely job, and that even if I had 20 and some years experience in music production, I was quite ignorant of the live music industry and the publishing industry. And I thought at the time that the best way to go was to set up a professional organization. And I set up MMF France at the time. That was in 1999. And in the year 2000, with my Australian friends, German friends, and English friends, we did set up during MIDEM in Cannes the IMMF, the International Music Manager Forum,
Mm.
out of which I became quite quickly the treasurer at an international level, worldwide level, and the head of the of the European Committee. Being involved with the IMMF and with the MMF in France, I was invited to speak, hence me traveling the world, attending music industry events, speaking and talking, St. Petersburg, Cannes, obviously, Midem, Paris, Toronto, Seoul, where we met, Taiwan, St. Petersburg, Bari in Italy, I mean, a little bit all over the world, Israel as well, Luxembourg, and that gave me the opportunity to meet people from the European Commission. So I went to Brussels and I set up a meeting with them, went to Brussels, and that's how I became an expert for the Directorate General for Education and Culture from the European Commission. And that's how when we decided to launch Music Moves Europe, which was a program to help the music industry to grow, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's the way it was. And so basically, I'm now a manager in France. I did set up another professional organization called AMA, the Artist Managers Alliance,
Mm.
which I have left. I've left AMA, the presidency, after 20 years being an activist for managers around the world. I decided it's time to take care of my own projects. And I moved my company from the UK because my company was based in London, was an LTD, a limited company in London. I moved it to Paris, and I created my label, and I created my publishing company.
That's the DC factory, yeah.
That's it. And my company is called the DZ Factory. Yes,
I saw you educated in Babson College. That is that Babson, the American Babson
it's
College.
Babson College in Boston.
So you've been in America for a year, yeah.
No, I
A
studied.
study.
I studied I did an MBA at HEC in Paris. HEC being actually ranked number one MBA in executive MBA in the world according to the Financial
Mm,
Times. And HEC, they have partnerships with a university in the US, and this one was Babson. That's how I came to spend a week at Babson, and I spent a week in Japan as well. So we had just 1 week seminar in Babson about
gotcha.
entrepreneurship, etc. But that was a wonderful experience. I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Your career is from big to bigger. Like you're working for someone else, big companies, and then you get to the director level, and then you leave it because of something that you see, something that you think mm, take you further. And how does education help?
Basically, the reason why I wanted to study, I did an MBA at HEC, is because I felt okay. I had some would consider it a vast amount of experience, from working in record company and being independent and blah blah blah. But I was missing really mastering a toolbox
Hmm,
and basically taking education and training in terms of strategy, finances, accounting, IP laws, management, leadership. Did sort things out, did put things in order somehow, ordered my world, and I can now rely on tools. If I want to put a business plan together, which I did recently, okay, I can really put something really serious together: market research, strategy, marketing, etc., etc. And I think it was something that needed to be that I needed to go through in order to become a better professional. And I would encourage everybody at some point, to follow some courses, some training. I'm a strong advocate of ongoing training during your career. Uh, I mean, we probably will talk about the evolution of our business, our trade, and we will talk about probably new technologies. Um, I could easily now take a course in Web 3.0, in NFT, in blockchain, in cryptocurrencies. I could take a class in artificial intelligence, etc., etc. We are in such a
can you
fast-paced world, and
just bit
you need to keep focus, and you need to be at the forefront of every new technology, and you need so going back on a regular basis. We did even discuss it at Medem during a year, where if we want to be a trusted third party, like a lawyer or like an accountant, lawyers in France have each year to follow some classes to keep up to date. And I think that this is also an obligation we have. It's not a legal obligation, but it's at least a professional obligation I feel we have to keep updated on all new technologies and what's going on.
yeah. Yeah. You mentioned that you wanted to work closely with artists, yeah. Um, is that correct?
That,
That's
that's
what
absolutely
that's
correct.
How did you choose to work with an artist? What did you see from
Uh,
the artist? And
that's a tricky question. I mean, I'm I'm a very emotional person. So first thing I need is to feel confident I can work with a human person.
mm,
So choosing human being, putting human relationships above all
mm,
comes first to me. Then the music comes second, surprisingly maybe, but for me the
mm,
music
mm,
comes second. And obviously emotionally same thing, you know. I mean, you don't listen to music only with your head. You listen to music with your head, with your heart, with your stomach, with all your body. And if I feel something, you know, and if on top of it I feel that I can have a great human relationship, okay, with the artist, then I will give it a go. It would be easier for me to work with a human being I get on with, but I might not be a fan of its music,
mm.
rather
Interesting.
than being a fan of the music and not get on with the person. My priority goes to human relation and to very, very strong values. I'm into artist management, and I think that it's a role, a position that is really central in nowadays music industry.
Yeah.
Uh, it I'm very happy in this position. A, because it's evolving, an evolving position. You know, it's not the artist management as it was 20 years ago. You know, those days are gone, are long gone. Okay, but maybe we discussed in depth what artist management means to me. So basically, what I love, you know, the whole setup period, talking to artists, you know, the positioning, the music, the recording studio. Uh, it's you know, if I want to make it short, I mean, basically, it's very difficult for me to explain to people what I'm doing. Okay, because I don't write, I don't compose, I don't record, I don't take pictures, I don't shoot videos, I don't make the promotion myself, etc., etc. So people are always wondering, but what are you doing? What is it you're doing? You know, and basically the best answer I can come up with is, I'm the one who make things happen. I create the conditions for things to happen. You know, so basically I'm involved from the very, very early stage, you know, from the writing stage until the finished product, and it can be manufacturing CDs or vinyl and distribute it in South Africa or in Australia or in New Zealand, and I control everything from A to Z.
The other member of the music group, yeah, you define yourself as a manager.
I consider myself, absolutely, I consider myself as a band member. I consider myself as a band member. You know, and the beauty of the way we work today is that every decision is made in common. Everybody, even the musicians, the days where you said to the musician, just make music and let me deal with the business, you know, those days are gone.
Mm,
Those days are gone. Basically what happens, I mean, that's what I found out over the past 20 years, is that the the risk, uh, the entrepreneurial risk and the financial risk have gone up the value chain to the artist and to his manager. So it's an artist as an entrepreneur and manager as an entrepreneur. My job nowadays is to set up labels for my art, for the artists I'm working with, is to set up their publishing, is to set up their touring company, their structure, and it's to run all of this. So I'm involved on the creative side, but I'm
mhm,
also very much involved on the business side. I create companies, I'm in charge of contracts. I'm in charge of finances. I'm in charge of marketing. I'm in charge of promotion. I'm in charge of strategy, of live publishing, social media. I mean, that's all my responsibility. I drive all of this.
Okay. So you work mostly in Europe, yeah? So UK, in France, and then
My playground is the world. I manage actually two bands. One band is based in Canada,
Canada, right?
in Quebec. Uh, that's around Joshua, and another band based in France called Bukowski. Around Joshua is an alternative rock band, and Bukowski is more a hard rock band.
I follow the industry in the UK and then the US and in Asia, but I have no idea what's happening in Europe. But I know there's some, so France, Germany, and the UK are in the top five, as well as Scandinavian countries are in the top six of music market in the world. How do you see that this market evolve?
People outside of Europe or with little knowledge of Europe would make a major mistake thinking or considering or approaching Europe as one market.
Mm,
Europe is consists of 27 countries,
mm,
28 with the UK. Okay, well, you know that the UK has left the Europe,
yeah.
has Brexited, and they are on their own. But basically, we have 27 in 28 countries, territories, as I call them, in Europe, for the music market, for the music industry. Those are 28 totally different markets. There is no unity in the
Mm,
European market. You have 28 different territories. You have 28 sets of different IP laws. You have 28 different sets of collective management organization. You have 28 different sets of labor laws, of working laws, of accounting systems, of languages, of promotion, etc., etc. Let me give you an example, if I may. If you have a US band touring Europe for promotion, for example, they come to Paris over a weekend, you will reach 80 to 90% of your target. In Germany, you would have to go to Berlin, to Hamburg, to Cologne, to Frankfurt, to Munich. So you would spend a week to achieve the same kind of volume that you would
mm,
achieve in France over 2 days. Uh, the French market is 70% French speaking, 30% international.
okay.
Germany is much more international driven. South of Europe, Italy, France, I mean, Greece, Italy, France, Spain, Portugal, we are very domestic repertoire driven. Northern Europe, okay, which is Germany, Belgium, Holland, Scandiland, the UK, are much more international music driven than we are. The French market is the slowest market in the world. Any US band coming to tour Europe, they will still promote the first single in France, they will promote the second single in Germany, and probably the third or the fourth one in the UK. In the UK, the lifespan of a single is very quick, up, down. In France, you can work a single during a year and a half. If I start promoting a single, if I want to have a hit single in the summer in France in 2025, I would probably release it now.
Mm, okay.
You know, so basically, every single territory in Europe is totally different. We don't have the same structure for our collective management organization. We don't have the same set of IP laws, so it's not the same. I mean, SACEM is not the same as GEMA. is not the same as the PRS in the UK. They have different rules. They have different ways of calculating the rights that needs to be paid to publishing companies and the creative community. Uh, the average revenue per stream is probably different from in every single territory for a very simple reason. In every territory, you have a different market share structure for the various platforms, streaming platforms. Spotify is massive in Northern Europe.
Mm.
Deezer in France is much bigger.
Oh, these are
So if you calculate and take into if you take into account the market share ratio, you have an average price that is completely different in France or in Germany or in the UK. The UK now is very complicated now for us, and Europe is very complicated for them because of the Brexit. So now, for example, young acts who want to tour Europe, they have to apply for working permits.
mm,
They cannot tour Europe as they used to before. So, in terms of admin, in terms of paperwork, in terms of visa cost, it's much, much more expensive for young English bands to come and tour Europe. So, basically, if you are based in Asia or if you are based in the US or in South America, I mean, outside of Europe, again, considering Europe as one single market would be a major mistake.
mm,
I would strongly advise you to really select the territories and the strategy you want to apply in Europe, because you're never going to break a 27 or
absolutely correct.
28 crack 27 or 28 markets, overnight. You're going to stretch yourself too thin. You're going to waste time, waste energy, waste money. Select your territories. Decide you're going to start first in Germany or in Scandinavia or in Italy, or depending on your music genre, depending on your relations, depending on the team that you can put together, on your budgets. But you have to be very, very careful in terms of strategy and in terms of planning.
Yeah, I think I now remember that you told me about this, especially about the IP, because I now remember, not vividly, but I remember that you explained that. But we were like intoxicated back then, so kind of it's kind of blurry. But yeah, yeah. Now I remember that, and so now in the global stage, what is something that excites you most at this point, and then what do you think the challenge?
I'm, I'm, I, I'm still as excited as I was 30 years ago or 40 years ago.
Right.
I think we are going through a very, very challenging, difficult period, but very exciting and very challenging. The inception of new technology, of Web.3 technologies, blockchain, cryptocurrency, tokenization of the economy, decentralized finances, restructuring of the various value chain, artificial intelligence coming, being launched, etc., etc. This will deeply, deeply, deeply impact our
Right.
industry. So we are on, it's sort of an ongoing transformation process, in a very interesting movement. And I think that nowadays it's really fascinating. That's number one. Number two, what's keeping me excited is I read an amazing sentence the other day. I don't remember if maybe it was on social media, and the sentence said, "You start growing old the day your regrets take over from your dreams."
Hmm.
And I'm
Interesting.
still dreaming. And I still don't have any regrets, and I'm still dreaming, and I still want to set up companies and sign new act and try new go down new roads and new productions and meet new people and travel the world and experience and meeting wonderful people. I met incredibly interesting people in my life.
Yeah.
It was amazing, amazing. you know. And this other sentence, saying, uh, uh, if you're passionate, you're never going to work 1 minute in your life. I never worked in my life.
Right.
I'm a workaholic. I spent 70, that's all I think about. It's music industry, signing new acts, new promotion, new strategies, new marketing, new ways of producing, new funding. How do I get money? New contracts, new everything, new pictures, new videos, social media. That's an obsession, but I don't have the feeling that I'm working. I'm just having fun.
Right.
And as long as I'm having fun, and as long as I'm going to keep dreaming, I'm going to be excited. That's what keeps me going.
So, so that's the excitement part. Do you have any experience, or I mean, of course you do. Do you can you share what stops you sometimes? Like, what makes you like, ah, this can be done. This is I need to find a I need to change something before I can do this. Like, because you okay, so here's I frame my question. Here's where I frame my question, because you create a international association organization that's for tackling something that you a problem that you see in the industry, right? Because you want to change that, and then
Yes,
you understand that you cannot solve it by yourself. You need alliance. That's why you create that.
I told you, I'm a very, I'm a very emotional person. Uh, I would agree with you 100%. You cannot succeed on your own. That's impossible. You need to meet people. Meeting people will broaden your horizon, will broaden your approach. You will discover new ways of working. Uh, you need. I love working with other people. I love making friends, making new connections. Meeting different cultures. I'm very curious, very curious. And that's and the the older I grow and the more I'm opening myself to other people. I dislike self-centered, egotistical, selfish people. I don't want to work with these people. I want to work with people who open up, who share their culture, their love, their smile, their knowledge, their connections. We need. If we don't help each other, being small independents with very scarce financial resources, if we don't help each other, we fail. The experience I had from setting up the IMMF and traveling the world is I have friends in Canada, I have friends in the US, I have friends in Taiwan, I have friends in, and I can turn to every major market in the world and ask in Australia, in New Zealand, who's the best independent distributor? Who would you recommend for that type of music, for that music genre, as an independent PR company or marketing guy or agent, etc., etc. And I can have access to worldwide information in a heartbeat, you know. And that comes from opening up. It's called empathy.
Right.
It's called empathy, and that's it. To me, I mean, you need to be generous. You need to be generous of your time, of your ideas, of your skills, and if you give, people will give you back, and that's how you meet wonderful people. Look, we met. I mean, we met obviously 7 years ago. Haven't been in touch since,
Yeah.
but here we are.
Yeah.
you know Here we are. And if tomorrow I'm in LA, and I guess you're based in LA, I'm going to make a phone call and I'm going to say, come on, Robin, let's have a cup of coffee. you know and I'm sure that things I do, like There's one project I'm working on called Bukowski. I know a tiny little bit of your musical taste, but I think that that's a band that you could appreciate, you know. And I could well ask you and say, well, do you know any independent PR company for hard rock music, or do you know any agent that would be worthwhile me approaching? You know, can you introduce me? And vice versa. If you need any assistance, any help in Europe, just let me know. If I can help you out, I'm going to keep put you in touch with whoever needs. I mean, if I can, but I will do my utmost, you know, to help you out. And that's, I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah, if I may comment about how did I think of you when we met in South Korea, on that group of professionals, like very high level professionals, you were a person that take me seriously. You take my word seriously, and I was like, this guy is like really humble. Like you are approachable, and the knowledge that you have and the experience that you have, but you still like take this random guy from Asia seriously. And I was struck by that, and then that's why when I start this podcast, one of the very first uh, person that I want to contact was you, because I know you are approachable. You are, and that's amazing, Didier. It's something that it's a gift that not everyone has, and that takes you
You
far
know,
so
I
far.
follow up. I'm still in touch. I'm still in touch with students I had 5 or 6 years ago, and who are have gone back to India or to Japan.
Right.
You know, yeah, you know this. Okay, yeah, I like quoting famous people. You know, it's I think it's Nelson Mandela who said, you know, either I don't know and I learn, or I know and I educate other people, but I never lose. You know,
Yeah.
it's important. You know, you can give away. You know, who cares? It's not important. You know, it's not important. And what is important to me is to meet people, to open up, you know, and to have conversation. When I teach in my classes, or if I'm attending a panel, okay, believe it or not, but I think I learn more from the audience or from my students than what I give away.
Mm.
It goes both ways, you know. So it's important, you know. And being arrogant or I don't get it. I would have loved to have met 30 or 40 years ago somebody like me.
Mm.
But you know,
There's
so if
none.
if if I can help you, if I can help you take a shortcut, why wouldn't I do it? What does it take away from me? It doesn't take anything away from me.
Yeah. Your presentation in Con was the feature of artist management.
20 or 30 years ago, you know, I mean, as I said at the beginning of our conversation, I studied mathematics and physics. When you study mathematics, you learn that for a condition to be true, it must be necessary, and both necessary and sufficient. 30 years ago, being talented was both necessary and sufficient. Now, for an artist to be talented is necessary, is not sufficient anymore.
Mm. Mm.
The artist needs to be market savvy. He must be an entrepreneur at heart. He must understand marketing. You must involve the artist in every single decision making process, because he needs to understand, rightly so. He wants to understand and he needs to understand. And that deeply changes the relation you can have as a manager with an artist. Because
Mm,
basically, as you said, as you rightly pointed out, I'm an additional member to the band, but I can also set up a company, a production company, where I'm a shareholder and where the band members and myself, we're all shareholders. So that changes completely the relationship.
right,
It's a new definition of, of management. I mean, some people will tell me, but Didier, that's no longer management. I mean, of course it is management to me. And then you set up the company. So basically, you're responsible for every business decision, and everybody's a shareholder. And every shareholder knows exactly what he's got to do. Some have some the mission is to write songs or to write music or to play drums or to be a bass player or backup singer. And well, my job is, as I said, is legal, finances, strategy, marketing, promotion, distribution, etc., etc., etc. You know, conflict sorting, planning, budgeting, raising finances, etc. etc. That's my job. You know, and that's the way I work with artists. I need them to get involved in
right,
every single decision we make. So we discuss everything. An artist will easily understand. Let me take an example. If you don't involve an artist in the financial side of things, he might want to have a nice hotel. If you make him clear that you can have a very comfortable hotel half the price, okay, so that the money that is saved can be put into production and into hiring an additional musician, or choosing
yeah,
a better graphic designer or whatever, he'll understand it and he will accept it. You know, so artists are mature entrepreneurs. They have to be business sensitive, not to the extent that the market is driving their creative process.
yeah,
You don't write for the market. You have an integrity in terms of artistic creation and artistic freedom and freedom of creation, you know, that must be key and that is not negotiable.
right,
Artistic integrity is a very, very strong value. So that's the way I see things. That's the way that's the message I try to get
right,
across to the artists I'm working with. You know, uh, uh, they are very intelligent and very understandable people, which is something that we might have ignored 40 years ago. Times have changed, artists have changed, the market has changed, technology changed, artists have to change, everybody has to change. If you don't change, you're going
right,
backwards. you know So you have to stay at the forefront of new technology, of all the issues, all the questions that are going through, all the challenge that are going that the music industry is going through. And this is something that you can acquire, that you can do by attending music industry events, attending
right,
panels, talking to students, teaching classes. It forces you to keep yourself updated. I cannot afford not to be updated about the latest technology or the latest issue. That's not possible. I have to have an opinion because people will expect from me to take a stand. So I'm constantly working newsletters, information sheets, reports, market studies, resources. I go on to every single music industry organization. They have all of them. They have resources, market studies, and government resources, cultural minister resources. So budget per capita, the cultural habits, where do they go, where do they buy, our business now is very much data driven. So I want to know everything about my market. I want to know, where do you buy tickets, how much concerts do you see, how much do you spend, how do you go there, when, what day, what place, you know the more I know about the fans, the better I feel. And this, for example, leads me to look into artificial intelligence, because artificial
Yep.
intelligence will help me, streamline and be more focused and be more efficient in terms of
Yep.
marketing
Yep.
strategy to implement, in terms of costs, etc., etc. I used to work in major record companies. We could lose some money, was not important. I'm independent. If I spend $1, I must get $1 back. I cannot afford to throw money out the window. So every tool I have that will help me, being very efficient and controlling every return on investment I make, and the efficiency of a dollar invested, I need to take it. I need to be aware of it. How to better communicate. I have set up with the bands I'm working with some collective management tools. Like I use Slack, so that and I use all those apps, for us to be constantly in touch, without sending emails and attachments and collaboration, improve collaboration, use collaborative tools, etc. It's amazing. It's amazing. I can do nowadays on my own, on my little computer. I can book TV campaigns. 20 when I was at Warner's, when I was a marketing director at Warner's, I needed to have a marketing manager, a product manager, an agency. I mean, I would employ 10 or 15 people. Now I can do it from home. I have much more tools, powerful tools now as I'm independent than the ones I had when I was a marketing director at Warner's. It's much more powerful.
I base in San Francisco Bay Area, so in Silicon Valley. So this is where everything happened in AI, in the latest technology. I'd like to ask you or your opinion about companies like Suno, AI generated music.
I was very, 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 very angry. Very angry.
Hmm, okay.
Um, I'm managing around Joshua. I've been working with around Joshua for 3 years. It took us 2.5 years to write 10 songs, to find the money to produce the 10 songs, to hire a world class music producer. I hired Danton Supple, who produced Coldplay, who produced lots of major rock stars. We did record 10 songs in 2022, 10 songs. In 2020, end of late 2022, early 2023, we have been promoting and raising the profile of the band during 2023, 2024, and the album is going to be released early 2025. So basically, it
Hmm,
took us a 3-year period
hmm.
between the moment where we decided to write and the moment we will release and deliver a 10-track album onto the market. Boomy, Suno, all these companies, we're talking 20,000 tracks per day. Per day. Okay? And they do this using the money, the music that we create. They don't create anything, they just mix music. Okay? And it's literally shocking to see these people shamelessly using what we do okay, downloading it and mixing it into a new sound. These people are in the music business only to make money. That's all. That's all. They don't nurture acts, they don't sign acts, they don't work with creative people, they don't have no idea what it is to write a song, to produce a song, to they have no clue, no idea. They're only in there for the money. So I have a very simple and maybe very brutal way of thinking. Force people to declare when they use AI driven sounds and don't pay them any royalties. Nothing, not one penny. And if the money drives out, they're gonna go away. Those are not music industry. It has nothing to do with what we are talking about since the beginning of this conversation, Robin.
Mm.
Nothing. I can understand. It will not affect everybody at the same speed and with the same violence. But advertisements, music for advertisers, why the hell would they bother paying record producers and publishing companies monies in order to use a track to sell cars or beauty products or whatever, when they can just ask an AI, a chat GPT, write me a song like Madonna with Taylor Swift's voice and looking like,
Mm.
and in 5 minutes it's done. Soundtracks, advertising, sync rights will be the first to be threatened. So again, the music industry was at the forefront when we switched from vinyl to CD. It was at the forefront when the internet was launched in the year 2000. It's now at the forefront of artificial intelligence. Okay, we are always at the forefront of every major technology jump, and each
Mm.
time, we get ripped off.
Mm.
I'm sick and tired. It's unfair. We need to be protected. We need lawmakers to step in.
Right.
So we have an artificial intelligence act in Europe being discussed and being implemented, at European level. But it's never going to happen in the US because the copyright is not the same as our droit d'auteur. It's not exactly not the same. Our IP laws, at the heart of our IP laws, are the writers and the performers.
Mm.
At the heart of copyright laws in the US is the circulation of music.
Okay.
It's not the same. We want to protect people and we want to protect work. They want to make sure that it circulates, that it generates cash, money, quick, fast.
Yeah.
Art is emotions. It's an emotional process. I don't want to sound like I'm against any tech progress. That's not what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You know,
Yeah.
but it must help us become better. Artificial intelligence, if it helps me in terms of having a more efficient marketing strategy, yes. But artificial in I read, I mean you studied, I studied, there's an advertising on social media. Write your master's essay in 10 minutes, 100 pages. Robin, it's nonsense.
Mm.
It's nonsense. you know Technology as an end doesn't make any sense to me. if it serves our purpose to create money, to create emotions, to share emotions, share a vision, share beauty, share smiles, share love, share ideas, I'm up for it. But if the only thing it's doing is that it's taking my book or my music production or my video images and it turns it into something else, and it makes shitloads of money and I don't make nothing,
Yeah.
then I'm seriously angry. It takes us, creating the creative process is craftsmanship. It's like
Mm.
something, it's like something you do with your hands. Distribution is a global approach. You produce locally, you distribute globally. So the industry is the global bit. It's the distribution and the marketing and the promotion on a worldwide level. But you create, in the intimacy of your emotions. And somebody will rob it and do something and even not tell you and make shitloads of money.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's disrespectful. Am I an old fart having strong values like this? I hope not. And the funny thing is, when I talk to my students, well, they share the same feeling. They are very worried about all these technologies. Are you going to go to a concert and see a 3D image?
No, I
Where's the
personally
emotion?
no. Yeah.
Well, I like the small venues. I like the feeling that when I'm at the bar, I'm having my drink, I paid my ticket, I'm part of the show. It's because the artist on stage feels comfortable, is happy. He's going to deliver a great show. If you've done it in your life. You followed probably bands, and did 2 or 3 or 4 concerts in a row, in different cities, following a tour. But if you do it, you'll see that every concert is different, even if it's the same set list. It's different because people react differently, because the sound is not the same, because the emotion is not the same, because you might be tired, you might be happy, you might be whatever. It's an emotional experience. It's something we share as human beings. I'm not against technology. I'm against people exploiting technology to make a quick buck and then take the money and run. That shocks me.
You mentioned about the government needs to interfere. What do you think the essential that needs to be regulated?
They are, in my opinion, when you use artificial intelligence, okay, you should be forced to declare it and say this piece of work is based on artificial intelligence. And honestly said, and I'm going to make a sidestep here, okay? It is a serious threat to the music industry and to the cultural industry in general. If it takes pictures and if it makes videos and movies and write books and poems and whatever. But the use of artificial intelligence in terms of politics, in terms of rewriting history, deepfake, manipulation, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
The next step, the next step is mixing artificial intelligence and emotions and feelings, and having algorithms where uh, the machine will be able to put itself in the same mood or emotional state as you and respond to it.
Mm.
Having a girlfriend which is a robot, is not something very sexy to me.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to control it before it's too late. But I'm experienced enough to know you do not fight the technology. I remember the year 2000 when major record companies tried to ban downloads. Okay, you remember how it happens. It turned
Yeah.
into a total catastrophe. Total catastrophe. You do not fight a technology. You have to deal with it. But a year ago or 18 months ago, nobody was talking about artificial intelligence. All of a sudden, you have it everywhere. It's everywhere. So we're not going to fight it. But we must limit abuses, or we must limit it being detrimental to the creative community.
Right. No, yeah, I agree. It's a really, like you said, it suddenly appear like it grows like exponentially, and then companies like Suno, they got like 100 million funding, um, only by taking lifetime thinking, lifetime work from other people, and then make a lot of money. That's um
Exactly. And meanwhile, we are starving.
yeah, yeah.
Meanwhile, we are struggling to find the resources to produce an album, to write a song, to go on stage, to it's totally disrespectful.
Yeah.
you know so it depends, what kind of world we want to live in. I want to live in a world where the creative community, where artists, where culture, where art is still that's what makes people free.
Yeah.
It's education, it's culture. That's what's making people free. It's music, it's art, it's painting, it's videos, it's novels, it's books, it's poems, it's pictures, it's graphic designs, whatever. You know, it's wonderful.
Like freedom, we need to fight for it. That's the key of your ideas, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Oh, yes, absolutely. And we gave in to everybody. We gave in to the platform. So the music industry I mean, the recorded music industry. We don't set the prices for our productions anymore. Nobody's asking us, how much the monthly fees, for these or Spotify or Apple Music. It started at 9.99, then it goes to 10.99, then it's going to be 11.99. When it's going to stop? We're not being questioned.
Right.
So we don't control the pricing structure of our product. That's number one. Number two, we didn't even we've lost control of the format. Radios, FM radios were dictating. We want songs 3 minutes 10, 2 minutes 50, no intro, no outro,
Mm.
bang into the chorus, because if the intro is too long, we lose audience, etc., etc. One of my favorite bands, and I'm sure, I mean, we never discussed, you and me, in depth music. I mean, bands, our favorite bands, but you will agree with me that Led Zeppelin is one of my favorite rock bands, right? Take a track like Kashmir, okay, and can take the music structure of Kashmir, okay, when it grows slowly and it grows and it grows and
Mm.
it grows and it grows and it grows. How can you put together a radio edit? Radio will say no, but the intro is too long. We don't want this. Who the hell are they? Who the hell are they? So radio is telling us the format, platforms telling us the pricing structure, artificial intelligence. I mean, the soon of this world ripping us off. Hold on a minute. Of course, it's time to be angry. Of course, it's time to be proud of what we are doing.
Yeah.
We create value. We must be proud, and we must stop caving in and giving in to all those big tech corporations or radios or platforms. There are 9 million artists signed onto Spotify. Can you imagine if tomorrow morning the 9 million organize a takedown and there's not one single fucking track on Spotify anymore?
Right.
Of course we have power. We don't use it. We don't know how to use it. We're not organized to use it. We don't think about it. But we are creating a value. We don't benefit from the value. That's also something I teach to my students. If you look at the value chain, the value is created upstream, but the value is captured downstream. So those who create the value do not capture the value. And this is wrong. And this is wrong. And I still have, after 40 years, this capacity to be upset and to be passionate and to want to
Right.
fight these people and fight for the rights of artists and composers. All the musicians I work with, they have real serious difficulties making ends meet. It's difficult for an artist. It's only 0.1% of the artists having released productions on Spotify, 0.1% who are generating a turnover above $100,000 a year.
Okay.
And you're going to say, yes, for $100,000 is lots of money, Didier. No, it's
No,
not.
it's not.
It's less than $10,000. It's less than $10,000 a month. And you have to fund your private life and the wife and the kids and the mortgage and the house and the food and the holidays and the school tuitions, and you have to fund your business and rent studios and hire musicians and write and come with less than 10,000 a month. It's fucking ridiculous. It's 0.1%. Can you imagine?
Right.
Something's wrong. Of course something's wrong.
Yeah. 100,000 a year income, gross income in where I live now in America is considered as poor for 100,000. Yes, in in San Francisco Bay Area. Those problem aside, what you do currently in the industry, what project are you working on right now?
Well, I've been an activist in the music industry for the past 20 years, since, 25 years, okay? I stepped down from all the professional organizations I was involved with, and I'm focusing on developing my label and my artist roster. I'm dedicating 100% of my time into my artist roster, developing my company now.
Right. How does it go, dear?
Well, it's difficult, it's financially, it's struggling. This being said, I knew what I was going into. It doesn't come as a surprise. I didn't expect to make money, but I don't care. It's not my problem. You know, I'm not in this business to drive a Ferrari.
Right.
That's that's not what I'm in this business for. Every money I make, every penny I make, is invested into music productions. I don't take holidays. You know, again, my passion is, are those sound and wise investments? It's probably questionable.
Hmm.
I mean, but again, if I'm not looking at the short term return. When I started working for BMG, we distributed a label called Arista Records.
Hmm.
And we had this young band, English band, signed on to Arista. First album flopped. Second album flopped. Third album flopped. We gave them the contract back. The fourth album, released by Virgin, they sold millions in the world. I'm I'm a firm believer that great work takes time. If you like food, okay, you have the quick food, the fast food, the McDonald's of this world. Okay, it takes 2 seconds to make a sandwich, and then you have the great restaurant. Okay, where it takes hours of cooking. That's what I'm doing. I
Right.
want to take hours and time and give myself time and give the artists I work with time to do things properly, to look back and say, I'm very proud of what we've done. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But what I've learned over the past 40 years is that there is no relation between sales figures and quality.
Right. I agree.
It's
Yeah.
not related. It's not related. You know, I know albums who sold maybe 2,000 copies, who have wonderful albums, fantastic albums. Honestly said, Psy, Gangnam Style, I wouldn't have signed it. I wouldn't have signed it. And people will say, oh, Didier, you made a mistake. No, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. This is McDonald's to me. I'm not interested.
Right.
I don't care. I'm happy people make it. I'm happy people enjoy it. I'm happy people made money. I'm not frustrated. I'm not jealous. I just don't care. It's not my world. My world is somewhere else.
Right. Right.
The first question I ask to a band, to a young artist I'm going to work with or I would love to work with is give me your definition of success.
Mm.
Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this? It's not going to be an easy road. Why do you want to do this? What are you expecting in return? You want success? Everybody wants success. Define success. You want to be like a boys band, unable to go in the street without having 15 or 20, 14-year-old teenage girls running after you?
Mm. Or,
Or do you want to be perceived as like quality, and you have a little market here and there and worldwide, you make a decent living, but you're proud of your craft, you're proud of your work, you know. It's not the same. It's not the same attitude. It's not the same culture. It's not the same strategy. It's not the same respect to yourself. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do this? And are you prepared to face the consequences of your choice? I work with bands, with whom I can develop it from the beginning, from A to Z, as I told you before, on a worldwide basis, okay, and developing 5,000, 10,000 fans in France, 20,000 in the UK, 20,000 in Germany, a little bit in Scandinavia, some in Canada, some in the US, and all over the world, 100 to 150,000 fans. And they will come to the show, and they will buy records, and they will buy vinyls, and they will buy merchandising, and that's and they can grow, and we can grow with them.
yeah.
You know, that's the kind of music I want to fight for. That's the kind of band I want to be involved with. And that's what is important to me. If the one hit single happened worldwide, hey, welcome. Has
Yeah.
it been anticipated? Has it been planned? Have we negotiated our integrity in order to achieve financial success? No, no, no. Be true to yourself. Be true to what you believe in. Be decent. If you lie, your fans will notice.
Right.
Your fan will notice. And my job today is to build an emotional relationship. And when you disappoint emotionally somebody, it's like a betrayal. It's like a love story coming to an end.
Right.
So respect your fans, know who they are, reach out to them, co-create with them, you know, take care of them, respect them, and you get it back. And you get it back. Long term, not short term,
Right.
long term. People are quite sometimes surprised, people are sometimes are surprised when I say, in order to go to be fast, take your time. Somebody may consider what I'm saying old fashioned, out of date, blah blah blah. I don't care.
Yes.
I don't care. If you build it up, it's like a house. Nowadays you want to start, putting the roof. Build foundations first. Build foundations. Take time. Build something solid. That's the kind of artist I want to work with. In my rock, from alternative rock to hard rock, frame space. And that's the identity I want to give to my label. That's the identity I want to have as a person. That's how I want to work with the artists I'm working with.
Mm. So that's what you are doing with your artists, yeah, around
Yes.
Joshua and Bukowski, yeah, and
Yes,
then
absolutely.
other than that, you also right now is teaching, yeah, in master program.
Well, and I teach, right? And I teach in two master programs, and I would be happy. I mean, considering the way I work, I cannot manage 10 bands or 10 acts, right?
Right.
That's impossible because that would be way too time consuming. But I would be happy now to sign the third act. I'm still having space for a third act, you know. That could be I did do a tentative with a band based in Australia. It didn't work out. Uh, Maybe a band based in California didn't work out. It's complicated, considering the way I work, that everything clicks, you know. But I still have some space for another act,
Mm,
which could
mm,
be tomorrow English, German, whatever. I don't care.
right.
Again, I mean, my playground is the world,
So that's the label, and then the teaching. How is the teaching goes, Didier?
Well, I have two. I'm working for the time being with two universities, business schools. Uh, One, I mean, both. I mean, the level is master two. Okay, master two, or sometimes even between master and PhD. Uh, and one is a course in English, and one is in French. But it's about the music industry in general. And I love teaching to my students. I love my students. Because again, I mean, it's interesting because I ask them, to challenge me, to disagree with me, you know, I don't like it when they just, take notes
Right.
and are happy and, no, challenge me, tell me I'm wrong. God,
Right.
tell me I'm wrong.
Who are they? Are
You
they
know,
artists? Are they music industry executives?
no,
So who are they?
they are students. They are 22, 23 years old. They are finishing their master's degree. They want to work in the music industry later. Most of them they want to work in the live music industry,
Hmm.
more on the live side of things. A few on music productions, but hardly anyone wants to go into music publishing, which is a
Hmm.
mistake. I think music publishing is very interesting as well, and it's a sector that didn't go through any major crisis during the past 50 years.
Right.
In and out, but I mean, there's always a little bit growth. I mean, they didn't go through the same difficult times as the recorded music industry since basically '85, or the live music industry, or the way the live music industry is going to evolve. Because in my view, the live music industry has not totally finished its merger and acquisition process, and I think that the Live Nations and AEG of this world, I think you're still going to have, like in the music industry, you're going to have 3 or 4 major companies, with
Yep.
controlling most of the market worldwide, and then some very small local producers, but that's something that has to be monitored as well. It's the evolution of the live music industry.
Why do you think there's less interest in music publishing? Is it too complicated to some, or because it's
No,
different
because
generation? Or
it's. I mean, music publishing is the only B2B sector, so students do completely ignore. They don't know it exists.
right?
They
Yeah.
go to concerts. They buy records. Or they listen. They stream music. But why would they be aware of music publishing and what a music publisher is? So it's I think it's a profession, it's a business that is unknown from young up and coming executives, and that it should be promoted more, because it's a wonderful job. It's a wonderful, I mean, if you like writing, if you like composing, if you like words, if you like playing with words, putting teams together, crafting songs, it's an amazing job. It's amazing. And I've worked with, I mean, I've worked with Joe Cocker or Tina Turner. They never wrote a song in their life. They were just perform. I mean, they were performers. You know. So I remember when Joe Cocker's manager wanted to schedule or started thinking of a new album, and he was making phone calls to all the major publishing companies and saying, "Come on, send me songs, send me new material. This is what I want to do." Blah blah blah. It's amazing. It's a beautiful job. And in France, SACEM, which is now the number one collecting society in the world, uh, uh, they take very good care. They have pension scheme. They have health schemes. They have training. They have it's a very strong organization. Very very strong organization. So it's very important.
We have almost 2 hours already, and it feels like only half an hour, or it's like really the intensity of the talk is really really good. But there's a lot of things that I learned today, Didier. It's crazy. I think one of the things that I really enjoy doing this podcast is because I used to work with professionals, but on a capacity as a professional myself. So I need to pitch my thing to other professionals. Right now, I shut the fuck up. I shut up and I ask a lot of questions, and so I learn a lot more. And I'm like, "Poof, it's mind blowing that you guys do is just crazy. The dedication, the passion, it's you give your life basically to your craft, and that's amazing. That's something is highly respectable, and I'm glad that
But
I connect with you
but
again, and then I glad that I start
Robin,
this
that's my
project,
luxury.
because
My
it's
life
just
is luxury.
amazing. Yes.
It's luxury. It's I'm privileged, you
Yep.
know. Even if financially I'm struggling, it's complicated, it's difficult, but that's not the purpose. The purpose is to be. I feel privileged, I'm rich of my experience. I'm rich with the people I meet, with the conversation I have, with the dreams I have. That's what's making me rich. It's not a matter of having a big car and a big house and lots of money on your bank account. No regrets, never, and still dreaming.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. So what would you say to to your student or to people who wants to get into music industry now? Because it's been, it changed a lot, and then you have, I'm sure you have the vision, or you're seeing something in the future in the music industry. So if someone wants to get in now, what would you
What
say to
I'd
them?
say to my students is be passionate, be curious, be open, uh, 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 take risks, uh, uh, open up to other people, build teams, create your network of
Mm,
people, and don't be afraid of failing.
mm,
Don't be afraid of failing. You fail, get back on your feet, start all over again, and start again, and start again, and start again. And you will fail, and you will be discouraged, and you will be frustrated, and you might be depressed. There's a lesson to learn from every mistake you make. Mistakes or failures are more
mm,
educational than success. Stay humble. Question yourself every morning. Every morning it's a new day. It should be a new you. Be full of doubts. Be full of questions. The day you stop questioning, the day you start being certain, being thinking that you you hold the truth. This day you're dead because you stop moving, and it doesn't matter. Do it. Don't do it for the money. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You know,
yeah.
and give to people. Be generous. And have strong values. I don't. I'm too old to work with people who will backstab me, who I don't trust, who I don't respect. I don't want this. Trust your gut feeling, trust your instinct, develop your intuition. You know, Nothing's going to happen to you. Do it. It's worth it. It's a nice journey. It's a beautiful journey, and you meet wonderful people. I spent a week with Quincy Jones. I spent time with Neil Young. I spent time with with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I spent time with Phil Collins. It's just amazing, amazing. You know, I spent time with Whitney Houston. I spent nights with Joe Cocker.
Yeah.
Amazing times. And it's funny because at the time we didn't have any mobile phones, so no selfies. There aren't any pictures or anything left. Thanks God, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks God, by the way. Because something you wouldn't like to show.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
better. Best
Oh
keep something
gosh.
secret. Never talk. you know.
Right. I guess I need to close this here, Didier.
Hey,
It's been wonderful. Do you have anything else to say? Is there something in your
let's
mind
do
you would
this
like
again in
to
seven
talk?
months' time.
Okay. Okay, let's do that. Let's
Okay,
do
because
that.
I don't want to
Yes.
talk. I
Okay.
don't want to
Okay, that's
talk.
great.
I don't
That's
want to
good.
talk about things I'm working on now.
Okay. seven
Yeah,
months.
early
Then
twenty
it's
twenty five.
okay. I'll put on my
Okay, let's do it
calendar
again in early
now. So
2025.
it's
Have a
going to be.
sequel. Have a second conversation, and then we can take it from here.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's connect with Didier early 2025. All right, I'll do that. I'll do that definitely. I'll reconnect with you.
Okay.